Good morning. Welcome to Blaenau Ffestiniog. This is a beautiful morning, and I've not been out for a month or more, and I'm a little bit fragile, which I'll talk about a bit later. But for now, if I bring you up the map, we are in the Mulwins. We've got 2 walks left to bag all the nuttals in the Mulwins, and this one is going to pick up 3 tops, 2 of which are quite close together and 1 is miles away. So it's an out and back walk, although we're going to vary the route on the way back. So take in some McLins, and yeah, I'm really excited to be out again because it's gorgeous. So we're cutting across a boggy bit, but if I turn you around, you can see the route up. There's a path that goes up the side of the mountain there, probably originally in place for the quarries, or many quarries in this area. The area around Blaenau, and these tops are not in the National Park. Well, this path is absolutely great. It's nice and gradual. I think it steepens up once you get around the corner up here. Awesome. Right, you can get a good idea of today's route now. Down behind me is Llyn y Manod. Up there is Manad Mawr. Behind me there is Manad Mawr North Top, I think it is. And right over the other side over there is Moel Penniman, and all that landscape between me and there is our return route. So we're going to sort of try and keep the high ground on the way, which means following the ridge right the way around there. But on the way back, we're going to come down through the old quarry workings and past all those little llynns, which instinct tells me is going to be a total bog fest. I'm a sucker for a nice little lake, and so I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. Here we go. This is where we turn off the quarry path. We'll be back here a bit later and head up towards the summit. Wow, Welcome to the top of Maneth Mawr, and it's absolutely gorgeous. What a lovely little mountain, only taking an hour and a quarter to get up. Let me bring you in and give you a quick panorama. There's Malwyn Mawr and Malwyn back over there, and then Connect. Look at Erytha, stunning, absolutely stunning. And then round to the Rhinogs, an area I love. These remind me of the Rhinogs a little bit. Arrownigs over there, and the Arrowns and the Berwins. Wow, what a lovely, lovely mountain. Right, quite breezy, but not too breezy. I think this is the top. There's a big cairn here. The summit shelter looks about the same height, so I'll go and visit that as well, just to be safe. But for now, let's hand over to Daisy to give you a quick tour of this summit. Over to you, Sausage. Thank you, Daisy. Well, I shouldn't be saying thank you really, because it was so windy up here. As she came into land, she viciously attacked me, and so I shall have to dig out my first aid kit. This is the view from the shelter. Used to be a trig point in the last no more. Right, let's get around this quarry next. Right, I'm back on the quarry path. We've got to go through the quarry and out the other side to pick up our next stop, which is Maneth Mawr North top. Not Maneth back. Dear me, that's over the other side, and it's not a Nuttall. Anyway, I mentioned earlier that I was a bit fragile today, and that is because about a month ago I tweaked my back, and that resulted in a trapped nerve. I had really bad sciatica for a few weeks, couldn't really do anything at all, and thanks to a yoga position my mum taught me, the position of the angry wombat or something along those lines, I managed to free up the nerve, and now I've been gradually just building up. It'd been great for a wild camp tonight, or last night even, but there was no way I could risk a big pack, and I can't afford a slipper or chip today. I need to be really careful, but I should be fine, feeling good. Managed to take a wrong turn in the quarry and extend my day a bit. Well, this is the point where we leave the quarry workings and head back into the countryside. Holy roast potatoes, that was steep. Oh. Welcome to Maneth Mawr North Top. Oh, that was steep coming up that one. That's where I've come from over there. There's the Malwynd, Cynnydd, Erythfa, the Gliders, Wel Shabad. Wow, gorgeous. Now it's still windy. Do I dare risk flying Daisy and her attacking me again? Let's give it a go. Go on Daisy, over to you. Right, thank you Daisy. Time to get my cap and sunnies out now because the sun is increasing in strength. I need to dig out me factor 50 in a bit. But first I've got myself a treat. I can't work out whether this is genius or sacrilege, but what I've got is a jammy dodger. Not an ordinary jammy dodger though, this one is blackcurrant instead of strawberry. And it matches my lovely black currant baps that I've got in my bag for lunch. So let's give this jammy dodger a go, and I'll report back later as to whether it hits the mark or not. Right, time to leave Maneth Mawr behind. Our next one is Moel Penniman, and it's that little hump over there. And the plan is to go right round, try and maintain height and go all the way around past that much I think is Fell Frass to Moel Penniman. But coming back, we're going to come back past that lake, which might be a disaster. It might be great, but you don't know until you try it here, so let's give it a bash. When I did read up some of the reviews about this walk, I did say trying to link Moel Penniman in with these two was a bit of a bog fest, but we shall see, we shall see. So this is the lowest point between the two tops on this route. But it's so wet. Holy jammy dodgers. Blackcurrant ones of course, because in my experience, which is just today, they're even better than the original. But I feel like I've been going forever across the bog of stench. Dear me, that stretch has been tough. I don't want to tempt fate, because I've had worse bog. None of it's come over the top of my boot, but it has been trying to suck my boot off. It doesn't sound very good, does it? I'm sure there's a better form of words which I can't think of at the moment. Right, the going's a bit easier now. so I can talk, because I'm not huffing and puffing, working so hard, walking through a giant sponge. I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk briefly about my plans for the remainder of the North Wales Nuttall. If I pop a map up on the screen, you can see I've completed the ironings. All the others after today, with the exception of the Berwyns, will be complete with one more walk. So I think my next walk will be the Berwyns. Good time to do it in August during the summer holidays. Heather's in flower, which is probably the only positive of that particular one, because it's a bit grim. So I'm trying to think what I can do to liven that one up, because it won't be too much of an exciting watch, I don't think. But yeah, once that Berwyn one's done, then each walk I do after that will complete a range, which is quite exciting, and also quite emotional too. I've still got a lot to do in South Wales and a fair few to do in Mid Wales, so I don't know whether to focus my efforts down south next, and then try and get to a situation where one walk in each range will complete them all, to finish them off one after the other, which would be a good way to end this series of videos. Still a long way to go, and I'm still really enjoying myself. And you know, my back issue is a reminder for when you're in your 50s. You can only do this sort of stuff when your health's good. I've been blessed with good health most of the time. Not too far. There's old Penniman over there. Welcome to the top of Mole Penniman. Oh, I've been up here once and got chased off by a bee. There's a bee's nest down the other end. Hopefully if I stay over this end it'll leave me be. Right, quick panorama for you. Mole Shabard, the glitters and Erythra, the Arran popping up there. Then over to Mole Drummond, and there's Molwyn Mawr, and Molwyn back there on the end is the last one for us to do, and now we've got to get back all the way over there, and I'm planning to go via those lakes down there. So yeah, utterly marvellous. Looks like a little veranda down there which might be out the wind, so I'm going to pop over there, get Daisy out, quick Daisy tour, and then it's time to break for lunch. Right, I've been sitting here half an hour or so, had my lunch. Although I've done all 3 tops for today, I'm only halfway through the walk really. I'm as far away now from the bike as I'm going to be. I've got a different route back planned. Gonna take me through the quarries, not as much ascent, but potentially more bog. Right, leaving Moel Penniman behind. Retracing my steps initially back to Foel Frass, and then we do a 90-degree turn out towards the Llynns, and yeah, we shall see what that brings. So I've left the main path and I'm just contouring around. I know the path I want goes down this side of that Llyn down there, which I'm almost level with. Still contouring round, and yeah, there's lots of little animal tracks and things you can follow to work your way across. Right, I'm on the path. Such as it is, tiniest of trails, but so far so good. Oh, right, arrived at the dam. Been going 5¼ hours. Time for a little sit down on my last jammy dodger. Holy jeez. Wow, well, that is a thing of beauty. I was getting a bit worried about how I was going to get over this wall, because I could see a good stretch of it and it all looked huge. But this little stile's tucked away behind this little rock formation here. I'm back at Llyn Maned, and the route back has been absolutely great. Really enjoyed it. You know, I spent longer planning this route than all the other ones I've done. I came up with 4 different variations and none of them I was really happy with. And this was the one I decided to go with. But staying high, or trying to keep the height coming off the north top, with hindsight, was probably a mistake, because that route was so boggy. Nearly back at the bike. been going for 6 hours 40, so it's going to be about a 7-hour trip in total. And yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful. What a day. Really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it too. I think the next one, if all goes to plan, will be a bit of heather bashing in the Berwins, or possibly if we get an opportunity down in South Wales, we shall see. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the next one, all being well.